Hello, greetings. This is Gillesmansillon. I thought I'd come and say hello, wish you a good day. I made some notes today to discuss a few subject matter. I think they may be interesting to talk about. I'm getting ready to take a big leap of faith, and so right now the important phase is that we are in a phase where relationship is essential. It's at the center of all things. The relationship to ourselves, the relationship to our past, the relationship to our life, the relationship to our source and creator, the relationship to other people. Everything is centered around relationship. Eventually, although we, even in a relationship with others, we may find distance between us because we're no longer on the same linear path. We have moved a little bit above, and so it is sometimes difficult to feel the connection, but it is important to stay connected to the inner center, to our inner power, beyond the mind, for the mind is very powerful, the mind is all powerful. And so we have to watch out what our mind does. The mind wants to project outcomes. And so it is very challenging to live in the now without projection, but we have the trust that our soul and spirit will lead us to the right place. Although it's very reassuring when we see the outcome with certain certainty of that outcome. Well, we have to understand that love has to become the base root of all relationship. The love of Creator, the love of God, for all fulfillment come from relationships. For even the relationship to our soul and spirit, to God, is where there is the highest fulfillment, but even of other people, the loved ones, friends, but even strangers. When we meet a stranger, we do not know what their intentions are, but so we have to create a balanced exchange, but it's important. There is a give and take, and they may have certain different intentions. So we have to know what's appropriate for us, but yet we want to keep to know that we are safe and we can open the relationship. So all relationship, even with strangers, are leading to something, a co-creation that is positive. It's not always easy. For we do never want to belittle or diminish another person in relationship, because otherwise it's self-sabotage. The purpose of relationship is expansion towards love and joy, and so do not put anybody down. Do not look at their flaws. Do not if somebody is wrong about something, do not make it so big that the person feels diminished by that. Try to maneuver around it and show there is a light that is also there, as much as possible, for we are getting new level of reflectivity. We are being reflected in a higher level. The universe, the life will reflect the different. Is reflecting us on a higher level, more conscious level, and we can no longer blame anyone or anything for the reflection of life. We have to assume the responsibility of our life. For anybody that does not have this integrity, there's some people that may be very powerful and famous or whatever, but if they do not have integrity, they will land into a barren desert. There will be nothing to grow from there, because it's our intention that fuels the future of what is coming about. So stay pure, stay as true as possible to the good, the true. And the beauty within yourself, those value of the supreme being, the God of all creation, the God of action. For we are held responsible with our action and non-action. The universe will hold us responsible if we act or do not act on a situation. So it's about to discern on what to do and what not to do. So it's a subtle process, but we are learning each and every day. So I'm going to pull a few cards and discuss a few more ideas. I'm going to pull a few cards with I'm not going to over-interpret them. I'm just going to read the 7 major chakras plus the Earth Star and the Soul Star, for we have hundreds of chakras, energy centers that are essential within our physical body, that are also being activated in our astral body. At the root, at the base, is forgiveness. Essential forgiveness. If we can forgive ourselves, we are clearing up all that and forgiving others as well. What we see in the earth plane, in the navel, in the sacral chakra, is clairvoyance. We are becoming more clear about the level of all action in relationship. The more lucidity we have, the more compassion we'll have, and the courage we'll have to align more and more. But in our power center, we have a renewal. It's about a regeneration. What we have in our heart chakra, what we have in our heart chakra is luck. So we have this luck. We are lucky. Just repeat to yourself, I am lucky. I am grateful to be lucky. I am very lucky. We're lucky to be here. We're looking for so many things that we're lucky about. And so we have to accept the luck that is coming to us. Also, we deserve it. What we are communicating is righteousness. It's not about saying I'm always right. It's about to stick to the truth as much as possible. What we see in our third eye is doubt. There is still a level of we have to develop more faith in order to stop doubting as we become more certain of this ability to live in the truth and manifest the truth. The truth will happen. As long as there is doubt, there is certain things that are stay in suspension. And the way, once we overcome that, we find purification. The more we are able to purify ourselves, we need to purify ourselves. I went back to drinking coffee today. I know I'm a caffeinoman. I'm a bit addicted to coffee. I know I will succeed. I'm going to clear it up. But coffee and tobacco are hard drugs, and they're really addictive. They're really hard to let go. And so, but it is a process. We cannot be judged too hard. Cannot be too. Everybody's different. Everybody's got to look at a priority. What's your priority? For me, this is. Sometimes I feel I'm suffering short time memory loss. It's like I've been smoking tobacco for 40 years and then I quit. But sometimes it's like I forgot that I quit, and it comes back to my mind. Like if I was still a smoker, it's like, well, it's like, am I completely? Do I have short-term memory loss about that? It's like, so it's also a process. But with the 11-11 Stargate that is coming, a lot of those repetitive old thought patterns will be deactivated, and we're going to find more freedom. And what crowns us is happiness. There is happiness. Happiness has to be a choice, and independently of circumstance, we have to choose happiness as much as possible. What's anchored within the earth, in our Earth Star chakra, is joy. For joy comes from within. Joy is an inner process. It is like bubbling up. It's like something that elevates us. It's far greater than pleasure. Even it brings us to levels of pleasure that are beyond the ability for the mind. It's not joy is not a mental thing. It is a spiritual energy that bubbles up. And what's in our soul star is wealth. For wealth there is inner wealth and outer wealth. There's all forms of wealth, but it will manifest in terms of abundance, in terms of money, in terms of connection, in terms of opportunities, in terms of all kind of ways, inspiration. So all of that will be coming down from our soul star. The soul star is a chakra that we have above our head that we share with our higher self. For the more we are recognizing the galactic, the angels, the archangels, we are recognizing more and more our higher self. For it's all connected to our higher self. Our soul is part of that amazing energy. And I wanted to say that there's been great secrets from the past that is slowly but surely will be revealed, remembered. And in this past, there was many interferences from extraterrestrials. All the mythologies were extraterrestrials that interfere with the past. And there's been all kinds of mythology, all kinds of extraterrestrials, some known, some unknown, that have interfere with the human process of evolution, some positive and some negative. So, and it took us many lifetimes to get to the point where we're able to shift into that higher plane. So this was a very long process. We do not need to know all the details. If we spend too much time trying to figure out a story in the past or with this some negative thing that happens, we'll be losing the opportunity of focusing. So let your soul and your spirit, even your spirit guides, to let you know what's important in the now, to allow you to focus on what will bring you joy, and let go of everything else. For when you're showing compassion to all those who have kept the world in bondage, we are showing our true color. They gave us an opportunity to discover this forgiveness and compassion. Only the truth will satisfy us. The more we acknowledge the God in our life, the more we are able to find this freedom, this beauty, and be grateful that you are loved. For God that never ceased to love you, otherwise you would have disappeared. We would have never been. Nothing in the universe could exist without this love of God that makes it possible for the experiences to happen, no matter how sometimes painful they may be. But they're only a transition phase, but we're moving into a place where we'll feel a deep sense of gratitude for being freed. And we can choose to make our life great or small. Always choose to make your life great. You can live an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. Just trust yourself. Be confident. Be the one. Choose the number one. Be the one that is the source of saying. For the one is connected to the great one, and the great one always knows what's going on within each heart. Like in the Quran, Allah said. They didn't know that at the time. They didn't know that they had a heart in the 7th century. So they said they know what's going on within the chest, but God knows what's going on within each and every being. So, and in a sense, we are one. There is no two. There is no separation between us and God, except from the small self perspective. From the greater self, this is the Father and His children, but the children and the Father are one, as the Christ said. When we look at God, we can see the love that we have within ourselves. So it is the very, very powerful relationship and connection we always need. The more we are able to turn to the source through our intentions, through our mind, to fuse our consciousness with the source, the more freedom we will discover. And we cannot possess love. Love can only be shared and received. For all is the receptivity of love. Accept that love is, and because even if you don't accept that love, it will follow you everywhere until you're ready to accept it. You want to see through the eyes of God so that you can shine the light everywhere, and you anchor this light in every being and everything that you meet. As much as possible. You want to create an inner path, a new path. There is a lot of newness that is coming with this 11:11 portal that is anchored into the earth, and that will bring fulfillment. Because in our memory, we have to look at the memory. We had many disappointments and regrets and all kinds of things from the past, but we also had those points of illumination, those points of contact with our soul and spirit, and for that we should be grateful. It is bringing us to a new recognition of love. For fear is like a dark cloud. It's been entrapping humanity for a very long time. Fear is a liar. And the more we are able to recognize our fear, the more we are able to label it, the more it will be discharged. We will not be entrapped by it. When we act from fear, that can happen. We think from fear, we talk from fear, we act from fear. It is about the conditioning. We've been conditioned for that. And it's conditioning from the past, and this it's like we are inside a fog, and this fog is loaded with negative energy that is not in alignment with our soul, and so it is a liar. It is like trying to distract us from discovering this light. For even in darkness, we can bring light into things, and the darkness disappears automatically. Although it is a normal standard, this fear has been imposed on everybody, and so they feel like the normal standard is to be afraid, to live in fear and submission when we need to actually we've been hypnotized by this fear, and everybody else is as well. And it's like it seems like the greatest fear would be to leave the fog, but the fog is not substantial. We can walk through it. It's not. There is no. It is just an illusion. But as we want to live it, the others will not assist us in that. They want to keep us in it as well. So do not let yourself be distracted. Follow the love. And then once you'll be outside of the fog and the illusions of fear, the other will look at you, will envy you, and will be encouraged to find their way as well outside of that illusionary construct that is fear. I'll pull a few cards for the Akash. I hope this message resonates with you. We're all going through this very intense process right now. The highest wisdom is trust and faith. It is trust and faith. What we need to understand is alimentation or anger. It is understanding the nature of desires, the desires of the body and the desires of the soul. The soul is very, the soul's an vantage standpoint because it is independent of time, space, energy, matter. It is at the center of the hub, so to speak, and so the soul is we want to return to that connection to the soul. The soul is a divine eternal being. We are divine eternal being. It's just here we are like we were we're not fragmented for it. It's all illusion, but we're only an extension of that, and the soul is so magnificent. We have to accept that the soul loves us even we are not as perfect as all that is. We are the small self, and there is the big self that we will reconnect to that true self, the true self that is the soul, that is God. What we need to do is the monk or the nun. We need to keep our energies together so we can utilize it, not to waste our energy, so we can utilize it when we feel we are called to do. And the outcome is the Celtics. Celtic, the world of magic, the world of connection. There's a great deal of magic that will be able to be an acceleration. We're going to discover ways to do things and manifest things in a way that is no longer linear. We're going to be able to utilize all kinds of new knowledge that will bring a great deal of fulfillment, again, through relationships. Sometimes we have to come face to face with fear, and this is the only way to pass through it. Nobody can deal with our fear but us. It's like so. It is really the best way is to face it and move through it. There was a great philosopher named Sun Tzu in the 6th century BC who wrote The Art of War. He said there is nothing to fear but fear itself. There's great wisdom within that. And once we move outside of fear, we find joy, we find love, we find compassion, we find freedom, also sometimes fear has been disguised as virtue. It's like society, they call certain things virtue when it's actually a fear of something that they have hidden within themselves. They don't want to look at it. So because they don't want to look at it, they try to prevent other people from looking at those parts. But virtue and fear are two different things. A lot of virtue, what we call virtue in present day society, is actually a mask that's hiding some deep fear within themselves. So do not let yourself be fooled by that. Follow your own guidance, even if it feels like your guidance will be faithful, will be true to you. Fear wants to keep us in the fog because it's afraid to vanish, to disappear. It knows it's an illusion, but it wants to continue to exist, and so it will do all it can. It will use all kinds of bags of tricks to keep you entrapped. For love is very quiet and fear is very loud. So we just want to discuss the nature of fear a little bit today. So I made a note that we're gonna get rid of all kinds of repetitive patterns of thoughts in this 11:11 portal that is coming about. Also, when I said that I was speaking about said that the President Trump is doing some really good work behind the scene. I don't mean to say that I agree with all his ideas and politics. Some things I feel like. It's his way. It wouldn't be my way to approach things this way. But yet he's doing a lot of work that's behind the scene, that's not revealed to the public, that is very useful in cleaning up some of the corruption and some of the darkness that is part of the process there. For a long time there's been a battle between the dark and the light. It is those forces in opposition that will create this expansion in the universe. God has and so there's been the brothers of darkness against the children of light. But now the light has won. It's done. It's a done deal. But those in the darkness, they know that, but they do not want to accept it, and so they're holding on to the little power they have. They're fighting against themselves to preserve this power over others, when the powers of the light is a power within, the power over others. There is all kinds of head of state that are so addicted to the power over others, they do not want to let go. But they will have no choice. The process is being accelerated. In a sense, that what's going on behind the veil that's not been revealed to humanity is that there is a fight between the deep state and the ally of humanity, those who are working for the freedom of the planet, like freedom fighters. And for there is a facade, and what's going on for everything that's been presented in the news is only the facade. It's far less important than what's behind it, and then there is spiritual depths behind it that's controlling the matter and overseeing the program in any event. It's already the game was played right when this part of space was disconnected from the kingdom. The game was already won by the light, although it took a very long time to get there. But God always has the last card, no matter what. He always have the last word. So it's like we may as well surrender, let go, and accept forgiveness, accept to return to the love of God, the love of light, the love of life, and become one with that. Well, I'm going to finish with a song. I hope this message resonated with you. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Behind me, this is a portrait. It's a portrait of a muse called Urania. is the muse of astronomy and astrology, the great muse of astronomy. It's got this planet in the sky as well. And I was going to rework on it to add some things and transform it, but I've made the portrait of the 9 muse, and I think that I'm going to leave them just as they are, because I may as well make new ones and leave those because they're just good enough, I think. This one is still evolving. It's a portrait about the 7 families of spirit beings. It's growing, it's about 70% done. So at the center there is the paradise deities, the prepersonal, the finalitas, the superpersonal, the unrevealed orders, the deified beings, the supreme, the ultimate, the absolute, the universe power centers and energy controllers, the courtesy colonies, the universe aids, the permanent citizens of the universe, the sons of God, the personalities of the infinite spirits, the Trinity origin being, the supreme spirit, and the transcendentals. This is growing, it's evolving. I started putting the name of the family. So now those are very methodical. I'm going to pull one more card. I'm going to finish with a song. I didn't have time too much to think about it. I just pulled one. And so it's an old song about the ephemerality of things. So be in the now, enjoy life as much while it's there. And it's called Dust in the Wind. I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes, a curiosity, dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. Same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Now don't hang on. Nothing lasts forever but the earth and sky. It slips away, and all your money won't another minute by. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. Everything is dust in the wind. Well, thank you very much for staying till the end. We are dust. We are made of stardust, actually. We are star. We are made of the light of the stars, and it's such an amazing thing. And it is true. We are just a drop of water in an endless sea. The cosmos, the earth, is just a drop of water in a cosmic sea. And every drop is making up this ocean. The drop is not separated from the ocean. It is all an illusion of separation. I'm going to finish with putting one more card. The 7 of Michael, it's coming back. There is a better way of doing things. To go about it alone may not be the best solution. Do not neglect details. So it's about understanding, to ask for guidance when you do not know. Ask for guidance to receive the inspiration so that you know exactly what to do, what details to look at. I made some very strange dreams yesterday. They sounded very symbolic. I hope they were positive, but they were very strange. And then once we address those details, we find the 4 of Ariel. Giving is also receiving, resisting change. To know how to spend or save your money is about the administration of resources. It's going to be very important to utilize our resources to the best in the best direction possible, so that we can utilize them as there is plenty of resources. We want to become as abundant as possible, and to be grateful for this abundance each and every moment. I thank you very much, and I wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.